Sorry, swallowing something there. Okay.
Well, you know, sometimes I jump in so fast, and people have actually said, "Does that guy does he take stimulants?"
I saw that comment.
No,
He
I
doesn't
am.
even drink coffee, folks.
No.
I'll just let you know. The facts are this is just him. He's just full tilt. But boy, when he comes down, oh man, don't
You
be
know
around.
that some people have actually, when I've been in stores or in offices and all, they come up to me and they go, "Sir, I don't want to upset you or anything, but do you have to be so loud?" So I try to measure my voice level.
It's not working.
So if I'm yelling,
Oh, you'll know. All right. So grab bag today is starting out with a group that maybe Dizzy knows something about.
oh
Maybe.
man, I love this band. I have all their records, and I was just looking at them today, and I have like 3 copies of every one of their records.
Even this one.
Yeah. And
Reuben.
give me some lovin'. Is that from them? Anyway, I
Good
love
Lovin', Good Lovin'.
Lovin'. Oh, when I heard the first time Good Lovin', baby, that song is shouts at me, shouts. Love that record.
Right. Well, I don't know. Is that the one that also was done by Spencer Davis Group? Give me some lovin'. Maybe that I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I think you are.
Okay, there we go. But they do a bunch of covers as well. We've got Mustang Sally on here, and In the Midnight Hour.
Felix is still out there on the cruise ships
Somewhere.
with the Happy Together
Oh, is he? Okay.
Turtles
Yeah.
and the other groups. That package varies in which every year which groups go out. Kind of like Ringo Starr and his All Stars.
Right.
Who goes out every year does vary.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's an act you've seen before, and other times it's
He's
not.
done some stuff. I think he did one with Steve Cropper, if I remember, more recently. So, he still creates some new music as well, which is cool. Even though he's got such a catalog behind him with the Young Rascals or the Rascals, and always fun music. I just love all the. And then one about Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
good
know what
stuff.
we're missing here is Felix plays that is it the Hammond B3
Yeah. Another
organ.
Another favorite.
And I love that. Well, we've talked about Santana, but a lot of people, we always think of Santana with the guitar. But if you listen to those albums and you're really listening to the different instruments, there's a lot of organ there.
Going on, and
A lot
drums,
of
a lot of
organ.
great drums,
There's whole
percussion
passage.
things.
Yeah.
A lot of great percussion
It's
stuff.
it's an ensemble work, so it's
Yes.
kind of because the band's name Carlos Santana, you think,
Right.
well, it's basically
It's all
Carlos
guitar band,
Santana.
yeah.
I'd go to see your organist and your drumming and the rest of them.
Yeah.
Kind of like Earth, Wind, and Fire. We saw them recently, and you don't want to just go to see the vocalists. There's a lot more going on
there, and there's a couple of different vocalists too. Here's a band that maybe he doesn't know. I don't know. The Raspberries.
No, I remember the Raspberries. I don't remember much, but I do remember the Raspberries. I hope I'm right that is that. Would I be right to say it's British?
Oh gosh, I don't think I can say for certain.
Sure, seems like maybe that came out of what's the label?
Well, it's Capital.
Ooh, that you can't tell on that then.
No. But I always liked their stuff.
No, I'm gonna go. It's
nice high vocalist,
it's during the early years, same time as say Beatles, Rolling Stones, Eric Burton and the Animals, and all that. It's
I think they were more 70s. They were more in the 70s.
Faces. Oh, are they more 70s?
They're more 70s. Yeah, but great stuff. If you don't know the Raspberries,
that's a good one to search out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Again, I'm going to mention that I'm 78 years old, and recently, relatively recently. I had a very major heart attack, and I was in the hospital for days, and I thought, if I had died, my wife would have just called 1-800-JUNK, paid money, good money, and said, just take all these records away. And so I've been selling my records through Norman Maslow, Mazzy. But of all the thousands and thousands of records I've had, I've never had a Raspberries
That's
record.
what I figured. Oh, yeah. No, well.
And I've gone through a lot of record
Yeah.
stores as well.
Yeah, no, they can be hard to find.
And
that's
I
for
just
sure.
don't see them. You know, so that's really a find there.
Okay, how about this one? This is another one that's you don't see a lot of these records out there. This is the band Redbone.
An Indian band, American Indian band.
Yeah.
Very unique, very unique. And they did have a sort of a hit that came out of
Sort of a
Redbone.
hit.
What was it?
It was a big hit.
You're hopeless.
I
Champ,
am. I'm
you're
hopeless
hopeless.
right now. It's
You know,
just-
your wife is
some,
right.
Some of these things,
You know,
just,
your wife
just
is-
draw blanks. Sometimes.
You know, my wife is for about the last 10 years has been trying to get me into a retirement home. And I've been denying that I have any memory problem. When the little secret in the back of my mind is, oh yeah, I got a memory
My
problem.
problem, yeah, there's some memories I can't remember. But Redbone, they were on the late night show, Midnight Special, right? And they danced in Native American dance, but we're rocking out and funking out, and jump. No, I can't get the song in my head. But when it is in my head,
just give
I
up.
can't get it out of my head. It's one of those earworms that you're just like, oh yeah, this is a great tune. And so, if you find Redbone, pick it up. Or just, if you just want to listen, Spotify, go check them all out because they are great. They are absolutely great. Different kind of different sound, but danceable. And interesting music, and rockin', funky, and good stuff.
Champ, you usually do come with a lot of records that are very worthy of attention, but for whatever reason never did even get much attention at the time when they came out.
Well, all these bands, always have the problems of switching labels. We aren't getting paid, we got burned or whatever, and then we go to another record label and they don't promote them right, or there's so
It
many
can be
things.
just, different times the genre switches,
And some of your
All the
members leave.
attention for years was on the Beatles, so worthy bands were being overlooked because so much publicity is being generated by one band and that
right.
type of music.
Sure. So, Leon Redbone.
Love the man. The man wore like a suit and tie, and it was always like flashy, big mustache, wore different kinds of hats. Here, I don't recognize that hat on him, but he usually was a white hat. It was
I
real
remember that.
and all. And he has a very distinctive voice. And he did a lot of early jazz 20s, 30s songs. I wouldn't be surprised that, he could get down and sing "You Are My Sunshine" or something. He was really getting into the oldies there. And so he was nostalgia. Definitely. And he never really became anywhere close to being on a circuit other than the smaller venues, But he did pretty well
Sweet
on
Mama, Hurry Home, or I'll Be Gone, Ain't Misbehaving.
Ain't Misbehaving, a Fast Waller.
I'm
See,
Saving
there's
My
a
Love for You.
30s, 40s song for you.
My Walking Stick, Lazy Bones.
Lazy Bones is a 30s, 40s year. Maria is the same. You see, it's all 30s, 40s. And when you're bringing out the Fats Waller catalog, which is a big catalog of music, but to think that he could get a record label to promote him and everything, and he never stopped touring. He never stopped touring.
I like
Never
on this
stopped.
one. He has special guest artist Joe Venuti, which is a violinist that I really enjoy a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
And
Jazz.
he's thrown on here. So That's cool. Other people, Don McLean, banjo. I assume that's the same Don McLean.
I couldn't say. I don't think that Don McLean would have anything. It did seem like from different worlds.
Milt Hinton, bass, Charlie.
Well, that Milt
Mason.
Hinton was on so many jazz recordings, and I think Leon Redbone really
Patty
belonged.
Bone. Patty Bowen. I know I've seen her name on some jazz records.
Okay.
And Ralph McDonald doing castanets. Steve Gadd, drums.
Steve Gadd.
Steve
I
Gadd.
just watched a video today by Rick Benito. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that he was talking about with on the latest record by the guitarist with Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
That Steve Gadd is on that recording, and he's, to him, the best drummer you can get is
Yeah.
Steve Gadd.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Currently playing,
prolific.
and
He's been on a ton of jazz
it's a different
records.
type of drumming in that he can hit cymbals and drums and pull back slowly enough that it gives a different
Get a different ring.
ring to it.
But he does say, thanks to Jelly Roll Morton and Jimmy Rogers for their music. So yeah, you're right. He's amplifying their music here. But
During a time in which nobody else was doing it.
Right. No.
And he's making it was semi-popular. It had an audience.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't a broad audience, but there was enough people out there, fans of it, that he alone, because he did have this look,
Right.
with a long mustache and a unique voice.
Yeah, a character.
Yeah.
You could feel the character coming out.
Yeah,
A very fun artist.
I enjoyed him.
Okay, for our final record today, we have Lou Reed.
This is my favorite Lou Reed record.
Well, I tried to pick one that maybe you might know something about. I tried not to get the
Well,
late.
when this came out, I don't think most people think of this, but this was kind of a discotheque. I mean, you went. There was years in which Dizzy could be found in discotheques. Mm-hmm.
Shocking.
That's when you went to a door of a club, and a guy looked you up and down, and whoever else was in your party, and if you didn't look like somebody they wanted in the club, you step aside. And I was lucky enough that whoever I was with, or maybe I looked acceptable at the time, and you'd get in there and Lou Reed's records would be being played. And so it was danceable, real danceable.
Right.
And this looks like that. You look at how he looks
Jane,
there.
Heroin, White Light, White Heat, Lady Day, Rock and Roll. And produced by Steve Katz, which I think it might be the same guy that.
Oh, it has to be. That has to be the guy that was in Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah. It's just
And because he was also a record producer.
And he was also in some other band before that.
He was in Blues Project.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, Dizzy!
One up for Dizzy. Woo,
Boom, on the
score.
board.
We might go blank on a lot of stuff, but hey, once in a while, something snaps in our brain, and that's wonderful. That's our final record.
Well, that's a very good one. I encourage people to look up this record. And the title is Rock and Roll Animal. And boy, it is a really rock out album. I like this. I saw Lou Reed in a small club in San Francisco.
Oh.
And it didn't matter if you were in, it was like, maybe 100-seat club, in which I was in a chair. And I thought I was almost could have tied the shoes of Lou Reed. I was that close to him, And they had it up, if sound can be at a level 1 or a level 10, it was like he was at 9.9.
Yeah.
And I'm in the front row. And I tried to ask for napkins to put in my ears and everything else. And I left there with a hearing problem.
Sure.
Oh, my God. And, but it was not that particular, that was later, much later.
Right.
And his music kind of changed. This is if you look at him here, this looks like even the
Glam
years
rock.
that David Bowie was into
Right.
dance music and this
with
and that
glammy rock
and
and
glammy, and he looks like he's wearing a lot of makeup here. He looks like he's got eyeshadow and maybe I would say lipstick too. He's looking very gothic,
Yeah.
dark
Yeah.
and very
More so in the back.
yeah, and tight clothing and this and that and
Leather. But his voice was right there in that range where all the instruments are. And so
That's
a
nice.
lot of times, well, it's hard to get his vocals out. So when you have things that are where everything's loud, sometimes his voice would get lost amongst all the other instruments. And that's my one complaint. I mean, that's a minor complaint.
I mentioned that I saw Lou Reed, and the show I saw, which is typical sometimes of other artists, he did not do any of the Velvet Underground. No, he didn't do any of that. He was doing just off his current album at the time,
a lot of
which
artists
was
do that.
very insignificant. And I was like going, "Oh, come on, get into the old stuff. Come on, roll
I
it,
think people
baby."
always do that. People always do that. Everyone's
But
always
they-
pushing
you know
their
how
new
many times
record.
I know how many artists, people come back from a concert and I go, How was it? And they go, he didn't play the hits, not one.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want my money.
Oh.
Come on.
Well, I think a lot of artists, they want to push their new music, and that's it. And in their new music, you might go, it wasn't so. But later on, you're gonna go, oh, that was a great tune, because it's like Peter Frampton Comes Alive. Well, we all turned on to Peter Frampton Comes Alive after it came out, but his other 3 albums prior to Frampton Comes Alive, they did okay. He was the third act on the bill, and smartly somebody decided, let's record the live concert, and you felt the energy that this guy was bringing up.
You know what Dizzy wants to say about Peter Frampton? I loved his work in Humble Pie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because he was really the lyricist and the lead singer for Humble Pie.
Right.
And when I go back,
Steve Merritt.
when I listen to those records, I love. Am I right that Peter Frampton was in Humble Pie?
Oh, you are. You're absolutely right.
Oh, good.
He was. He did leave.
I was starting to. He
did leave
had
at
to
one
look
point.
like. I hate to tell you this, you just blew yourself out of the water.
He did a few albums.
I don't
with
want to
Humble Pie.
embarrass you in front of the viewers.
He definitely did a few albums with Humble Pie, and it was a different sound. But his guitar. I mean, even now, he considers himself a guitar player. The vocals,
Oh, he is. He's a master.
And when Steve Miller had him on his bill, he brought him out at the middle of the concert, and Steve Miller did his the perfunctory songs that he has to do. But then when he got Peter Frampton out there, we're going to do 4 blues tunes in a row, folks. And I don't think the fan base was so into it, but I was right there. I was like, yes, yeah, do more. Yeah, I love that. And for Steve Miller, who's not a weak guitar player, to go,
far from
hey,
it.
let's Peter hit it, and I can hit it back, and it was wonderful, and great. I mean, I wish more artists would do that, would share the stage and throw it back and forth. I remember talking about blues artists. B.B. King and his guy that we used to be his chauffeur, Bobby Blue Bland, did some records together, and they threw it back and forth, and it was great. Those records are fantastic.
I saw that show. I saw it in San Carlos, home of John Lee Hooker, at a place called the Circle Star Theater. It was theater in the round.
Yeah, I've been to Circle Star.
Yeah, and so I saw those two together.
Yeah, the only thing I got to see at the Circle Star was Peter Pan. I think Mary Martin was playing it, or Crosby, or somebody. I was
Catherine Crosby.
I was 4.
Wow.
I got to go out to.
He's so much younger than Dizzy. Do you know he's 13 years younger than I am?
I thought it was 14. See, he's usually called.
Well, you know what?
His older brother.
Could I be off a year? I'm surprised they even came close. I've talked about my memory.
It's going quick, buddy.
Oh, boy.
That's why we gotta get these done,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of our grab bag for today.
I hope some people leave me a comment.
They will.
Even if they want to criticize me.
Yeah.
I'm open. Look,
man.
I listen
Go, hit 'em up.
to 8 to 12 hours with my wife a day. I can take one comment from you.
All right, champ out.
Dizzy out.